They said no. They walked away. They chose someone else. They rejected you. And right now, the world expects you to fall apart. But what if rejection was never the end of your story? What if it was the beginning of your greatest chapter? Welcome back to Powerful Mindset, the channel built for men who refuse to settle, who choose growth over comfort, and who understand that the greatest battles are fought first, in the mind. If you're new here, welcome, brother. Hit that subscribe button and join a community of men who are becoming undeniable. Today, we're diving into something that could fundamentally change how you respond to one of life's most painful experiences, rejection. Let me ask you something. Think back to the last time you were rejected. Maybe it was a job, a woman, a business opportunity, a friend who left, a door that was slammed in your face. How did it feel? For most men, rejection feels like a verdict, like the world looked at everything you are, your effort, your worth, your potential, and said, not enough. And that verdict, it can destroy a man if he lets it. But here's what they never taught you in school, what your father may never have told you, what society's never going to advertise on a billboard. Rejection is not a punishment. It is a tool. The most successful men in history, the warriors, the emperors, the entrepreneurs, the artists were rejected repeatedly, not despite their greatness, but as part of the path to it. Reverse psychology teaches us something profound. When you understand why rejection happens, how it works, and how to weaponize it, you stop fearing it. And the moment you stop fearing rejection, you become unstoppable. Today, I'm going to give you 13 lessons that will rewire your relationship with rejection forever. These aren't motivational fluff. These are psychological principles, battle-tested by Stoic philosophers, modern psychologists, and men who turned their greatest no into their most powerful yes. Stay with me until lesson 13, because that final lesson might be the most important thing you hear all year. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Rejection is redirection. The first lesson is one of the most powerful reframes in psychology. Every rejection you've ever received was not the universe saying you're not worthy. It was the universe saying, not this path, there's a better one. Think about this. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he created. Walt Disney was told he had no imagination. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Were those rejections punishments? No. They were redirections. The Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals, what we now call the Meditations, that a man must love what happens to him, not tolerate it, not survive it. Love it, because the obstacle is never just in the way. The obstacle is the way. The next time rejection comes, and it will come, ask yourself not, why did this happen to me? But, where is this redirecting me? That one question will change everything. Write that down if you need to. Seriously. Pause this video and write it down. Lesson 2. They rejected a version of you that no longer needs to exist. Here's a truth most men never consider. When someone rejects you, they reject the version of you that showed up in that moment. They do not reject the man you are becoming. Rejection often carries a hidden message. It's telling you the person you are right now doesn't match the life you're chasing. And instead of breaking you, it's inviting you to evolve. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, who was born a slave and became one of the most influential thinkers in history, said it simply. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. The rejection happened. That's done. What is in your power is who you choose to become because of it. Every rejection peels away a version of you that was holding you back. Don't mourn the old version. Thank it, then leave it behind. Lesson 3. Silence is your most powerful response. Now we get into reverse psychology. And this is where it starts to get interesting. Most men, when rejected, respond with desperation. They over-explain. They argue. They beg. They send 5 follow-up messages. And what happens? The rejection deepens. Here's the psychological principle at work. Reactance theory. When people feel they have power over you, when they see that their rejection moves you, that power becomes absolute. But the moment you go silent, everything shifts. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the loudest statement a rejected man can make. It says, "Your decision has no authority over my identity." Think about it. When someone expects you to chase, and you don't, who now has the power in that dynamic? You do. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates desire, and desire reverses the power structure of rejection completely. The Stoics called this apatheia, not apathy, but the state of being undisturbed, untouchable, unshakable. Master your silence, and you master the dynamics of rejection. By the way, if this is resonating with you so far, drop a comment below. Tell me, what's the rejection you're most glad happened to you? I'll read every single one. Lesson 4. Use rejection as proof of action. Here's a mindset shift that will make you crave rejection. Every rejection is proof that you tried, that you acted, that you were in the arena. Theodore Roosevelt's famous speech, "The Man in the Arena," speaks to this directly. He said that credit belongs not to the critic, not to the observer on the sidelines, but to the man who is actually in the arena, who stumbles, who fails, who gets back up. The man who never risks rejection never achieves anything remarkable. So here's the reframe. Start tracking your rejections. Celebrate them like wins, because every no is evidence that you are moving. You are playing the game. While other men sit paralyzed by fear, you are out there. Athletes know this instinctively. A basketball player who never shoots never scores. A salesman who never calls never closes. Rejection is the price of entry to a life fully lived. Pay it. Willingly, proudly. Lesson 5. Rejection reveals who your real allies are. When life says no to you, watch who stays. This is one of rejection's most underestimated gifts. It filters your circle with ruthless precision. When you fail, when you're struggling, when you're in a low season, some people vanish. And that vanishing, it's not a loss, it's clarification. Seneca wrote, "I judge you unfortunate because you have never lived through misfortune. You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you." Rejection creates adversity, and adversity reveals character, both yours and the people around you. The man who stands by your side when rejection hits, that is your real brother, that is your real tribe. And the man who disappears, he was never truly in your corner to begin with. Rejection doesn't take things from you. It shows you what was real all along. We're halfway through, and we haven't even gotten to the most powerful lessons yet. Lessons 10, 11, and 13 are going to hit different. Stay with me. Lesson 6. Turn rejection into obsession. This is where reverse psychology becomes your weapon. The average man lets rejection deflate him. He slows down. He doubts. He retreats. But the exceptional man, he uses rejection like rocket fuel. There is a psychological phenomenon called reactance. When something is taken away from you or denied to you, your desire for it intensifies. This is wired into human biology. The most successful men in every field have learned to redirect that energy. That burning, restless hunger, that rejection ignites, and pour it into becoming undeniable. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. He went home, he cried, and then he used that rejection as a fuel source that burned for the rest of his career. Every day, he stepped on that court. He wasn't just playing basketball, he was answering the voice that said he wasn't good enough. What rejection do you have in your past that you've never fully answered? It's time to answer it. Not with words, with work. Lesson 7. The power of walking away first. Here's a principle that sounds counterintuitive, but it is one of the most powerful moves in reverse psychology. Sometimes the most powerful rejection you can issue is your own. When you develop the ability to walk away from people, opportunities, relationships, environments that don't serve your highest self. You fundamentally shift your energy. You stop being a man who is chosen. You become a man who chooses. And that shift, people feel it. They notice it. And paradoxically, it often makes those very people and opportunities pursue you. The Stoics called this voluntary discomfort, deliberately choosing to remove comfort, approval, and attachment. Not because you're punishing yourself, but because you're demonstrating to the world and to yourself that you do not need what everyone else is chasing. A man who needs nothing from you is deeply attractive to employers, to women, to opportunity itself. Practice walking away. It will be one of the most powerful disciplines of your life. Lesson 8. Rejection is information, not identity. This lesson might be the most psychologically important one in this entire video. When rejection happens, most men make a catastrophic cognitive error. They internalize the rejection as identity. I was rejected becomes I am rejectable. She said no becomes I'm not worth choosing. I didn't get the job becomes I'm not capable. This is what psychologists call overgeneralization, and it is one of the most destructive thought patterns a man can develop. Here is the truth. Rejection is data, nothing more, nothing less. It tells you something about a specific situation, a specific person, a specific moment in time. It tells you nothing about your fundamental worth as a human being. When a scientist runs an experiment and gets an unexpected result, he doesn't say, I'm a failure. He says, interesting. What does this tell me? What do I adjust? You are the scientist of your own life. Every rejection is a data point. Analyze it, learn from it, adjust, and run the experiment again. Your identity is not your results. Your identity is your commitment to the process. Lesson 9. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable. The deeper reason rejection hurts so much is simple. Most men have built lives designed to avoid discomfort. And when you spend your life avoiding discomfort, when rejection finally arrives, it hits like a freight train. But the man who has trained in discomfort, for him, rejection is just another weather pattern. It passes. The Stoics deliberately practiced what they called negative visualization, imagining loss, failure, rejection, not to become pessimistic, but to become inoculated. When you regularly sit with discomfort, cold showers, hard conversations, saying no, being disciplined when you don't feel like it, you build a psychological callus. Rejection can't devastate a man who has already walked through fire voluntarily. So here's my challenge to you. This week, do one uncomfortable thing every single day. One thing you've been avoiding, one rejection you've been afraid to risk. Start small. Build the muscle, because the man who can sit with discomfort cannot be controlled by fear. Lesson 10. The paradox: the less you need approval, the more you get it. This is one of the most fascinating psychological paradoxes in human behavior. The more desperately you seek approval, validation, acceptance, a yes, the more elusive it becomes. But the man who genuinely doesn't need approval, he seems to attract it effortlessly. This is not a coincidence. It's human psychology at its most primal. We are wired, evolutionarily, to respect and gravitate toward people who have abundance. Abundance of confidence, abundance of purpose, abundance of options. When you pursue someone or something with desperation, you are communicating scarcity. I have no other options. I need this to be okay. When you operate from abundance, I'm building something great. If this fits, wonderful. If not, I continue. Your entire energy shifts, And people can feel that shift. Employers feel it. Women feel it. Friends feel it. The reverse psychology of rejection is this. Stop needing the yes, and the yes comes more easily. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. When you are truly full within yourself, you become magnetic. Lesson 11. Every rejection is a test of your character. Steel is not forged in comfort. It is forged in fire. Every time life rejects you, every time the door closes, the relationship ends, the opportunity passes, you are being tested, not by the people who rejected you, by yourself. The test is always the same. Who will you be after the no? Will you collapse? Will you become bitter? Will you let this rejection write a story of victimhood over your life? Or will you rise? Will you refine? Will you use this moment as the crucible that forges something stronger? Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man in the ancient world, faced constant rejection, betrayal, and loss. His children died. His generals betrayed him. His empire was attacked on multiple fronts, and yet he wrote in his meditations, privately, never intending for these words to be read, that the impediment to action advances action, that what stands in the way becomes the way. He chose, every single day, to meet rejection with character, and 2,000 years later, we still read his words. How you respond to rejection today may define who you become for the rest of your life. Lesson 12. Use rejection to define your standard. The final gift of rejection is perhaps the subtlest, but one of the most transformative. Every rejection is an invitation to raise your standard. When an opportunity rejects you, it means you are being called to become more, better skilled, more prepared, more disciplined, more focused. When a person rejects you, it means you are being called to clarify what you actually want, not to settle for what accepts you by default, but to build yourself into the kind of man who attracts what he truly desires. The greatest danger for a man is not rejection, it's acceptance into the wrong life, being accepted by the wrong woman, the wrong job, the wrong circle. That is the real trap. That is the comfortable cage. Rejection often protects you from a life that would have diminished you. So when rejection comes, ask yourself, what standard is this asking me to rise to? Set the standard, then become the man who meets it without compromise. Lesson 13. The greatest reversal. Make rejection fear you. And now, the final lesson, the one I promised you. Everything we've covered today, the redirection, the silence, the fuel, the data, the character, it all builds to this one place, a place where rejection no longer holds any power over you. Not because you're numb to it, not because you've never been hurt, but because you have built yourself into a man who knows his value so completely that rejection simply cannot reach him. Here's the ultimate reverse psychology of rejection. When you stop fearing rejection, rejection starts fearing you. Because a man without fear is a man without ceiling. He will ask for what he wants. He will say what he means. He will pursue what he believes in, without hesitation, without apology, without looking over his shoulder. And the world, people, opportunity, destiny itself responds differently to that man. Doors open, not all of them, but the right ones. The Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius, put it this way: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The outside world will always have the power to say no, but only you have the power to decide what that no means. And today, you've decided it means not yet, but watch me. Let's bring it all together. 13 lessons. 13 ways rejection becomes your most powerful teacher. 1. Rejection is redirection. 2. They rejected a version of you that no longer needs to exist. 3. Silence is your most powerful response. 4. Rejection is proof that you acted. 5. It reveals your real allies. 6. Turn it into obsession. 7. Learn to walk away first. 8. It's information, not identity. 9. Get comfortable with discomfort. 10. The less you need approval, the more you attract it. 11. Every rejection tests your character. 12. It defines the standard you must rise to. And 13. Make rejection fear you. Brother, the path of a powerful man is not paved with easy yeses. It is carved out of 1,000 resilient responses to the hardest no's. Every rejection you've ever faced, it didn't break you. You're still here. You're still watching. You're still building. And that is everything. Keep going. Keep rising. The best version of you is not behind you. It's waiting on the other side of the next rejection you refuse to let define you. This is powerful mindset. And you are exactly where you need to be. If this video gave you something, a shift, a reframe, a fire, let me know in the comments. Tell me your greatest rejection story. What happened? And more importantly, what did you do with it? If you found value here, hit that like button. It takes 1 second, and it helps this message reach more men who need it. Subscribe to Powerful Mindset. If you haven't already, we drop videos every week designed to help you build the mental fortitude, discipline, and clarity that most men are never taught. And if you want to go deeper, watch this video next. It pairs perfectly with everything we talked about today. Until next time, stay stoic, stay strong. And remember, the obstacle is the way. See you in the next one.